Honourable Member Sri Shashi Tharoor ji.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This may seem to be a routine bill, but it actually covers a vital set of issues. Design actually plays a very important role in how a country is perceived by its global neighbours and citizens. And the fact is that while we have a lot happening in the design area, Indian designers are reimagining today's products by evoking the spirit of our country's age-old traditions. Nonetheless, the fact is that we have to appreciate that in everything to do with the conceptualization and communication of the essence of our nation in a globalized world, design and art play a vitally important role. What are we doing to understand and enhance our appreciation of design? How do we take it a step further so the capacity to deliver design is pursued by our government? In fact, everything we do, every single action, from the way we brush our teeth to the way we talk or we deliver a speech in Parliament, has two elements to it. There is the motive, that is the intention or purpose, and there is the execution, which is the performance of the action. Now, it is in the performance of the action that we see the design. Through the design, we see what materials have been used, how these have been arranged, what method has been used to arrange them or combine them with one another. It's through the design of an action that you can judge the appropriateness of the action to its motive or purpose. Whenever we see, hear, interact with a product or a person, design heavily influences our perceptions and our ability to interact with it. And on top of that, the synchronization between product design and communication can increase the perceived value of a product or service in the eyes of a consumer. Indian design, in turn, influences how India is perceived across the world. Given that the world of the 21st century is increasingly a world in which we are focusing on the importance of soft power, where we have to really win over the publics of the world, design is part of our crucial strengths in soft power. So any legislation, any sound legislation for a design ecosystem is crucial for the future of a modernizing economy like India's. This becomes especially relevant to India given our young population and our competitive performance in the design sector. Now, the bill is obviously crucial in this. We understand now what the importance of design is. What are we doing through this bill to encourage the study and delivery of design? Now, Indians have for centuries proven that given the right training and environment, we can produce works of art and substance that are unmatched in design across the world. Consider jewelry design, where India is a world leader, for example. The bedazzling shapes and material combinations that our country's master jewelry workers constantly churn out is a testament to the significant demand and appreciation for our jewelry from the rest of the world. Same with our robust textiles industry. Even the success of ISRO's Mars orbiter, Mangalyaan, is linked to design. We all know and we boast about the fact that it was developed for a total cost lower than the cost of the Hollywood space movie Gravity. And it's a great example of India's ability to embrace frugality with high technology design. But do we know that it owes a good part of this success to the modular design approach that was favored by ISRO? So design comes in all sorts of ways that perhaps we've not taken into account in this debate. But despite this rich history of design innovation, we are outpaced and outnumbered by other nations when we just look at things like intellectual property registration applications that are made every year. In fact, these patents, trademarks, industrial designs provide a very, very good indication of design innovation. And in 2017, India filed just 1,583 international patent applications, as against 48,206 by Japan, 48,900 by China, and I'm quoting figures from the World Intellectual Property Organization. We fare even worse on the industrial designs front. In 2017, India registered only 10,253 industrial designs, as compared to China's 8,57,753 and the US's 3,53,707. So our total number of industrial designs, Madam Chairman, is just 2.97% of the US's and staggeringly just 1.23% of China's. Where are we lacking, ma'am? We talk about Make in India, Startup India, Digital India. While these are admirable in principle, we must associate them with an upskilling in design principles. Otherwise, we will not be able to succeed in any of these, even manufacturing. There's more to manufacturing than just building something. Manufacturing is the production of physical goods, But design involves the way in which these goods are produced, how the products are constructed, and they go all the way right up to service delivery as a whole. Conceived in such a manner, design is a vital part of our economic development and our overall quality of life. So this is why I think this whole institute, the National Institute of Design, is so important to us, and why it is, in a common sense understanding of the term, an institute of national importance. But what exactly is an institution of national importance? The HRD committee has observed that the term institution of national importance has not been defined anywhere in this bill. Despite 95 higher education institutions having earned this title until 29th October, this term has never been defined. No parameters have been set to evaluate an institution in terms of its academic excellence, faculty resources, infrastructure. Surely, Mr. Minister, there must be some criteria of both quality and numbers to merit such a term. I urge the Minister to insert this explanation into the bill. Our institutions of national importance keep swelling. They've gone from 40 in 2013 to 95 just 6 years later in 2019. So if this government keeps wanting to create these institutions, please define the term so we understand what it is we are creating. So organizations like UGSC, MHRD, AICT all use the term. There is still nothing in the legislation. It is reasonable to expect that a term that has such significant bearing on our higher education ecosystem should be well defined in our law books, Madam Chairman. The committee has strongly recommended that you must do this, and I would urge you to encourage the Minister to define this. In fact, the committee actually called for the NID Bill 2014 to define it, but it was not paid heed to either in the 2018 or 2019 versions of the bill, neither of which, by the way, have been referred to the Standing Committee. So there is a real fall here. Number two, ma'am, the failure to define the term INI means a failure to lay down the criterion, and therefore, without well-researched and objective criteria, it'll be a shame if institutions unworthy of the title get it and institutions deserving of it don't get it. That's what's happening, ma'am. The committee has recommended in the past that mere nomenclature will merely lead to complacency. So what we need is for institutions to understand what they need to do to become INIs and how that limited distinction confers certain obvious prestige and benefits. The truth is, ma'am, that the concept is now being diluted by our present government, which, as I said, has gone from 40 to 95, and every expert will tell you the status should be earned and not just conferred at random. We can pass a bill, but what has the institution done to earn the distinction in this bill? On that, we absolutely need some clarity from the Minister. I do want to say, ma'am, we've had an example with the triple ITs, the Indian Institutes of Information Technology. In addition to 4 triple ITs, 20 were proposed to be established to be operated on a private-public partnership, with the investment being shared between centre, states and private industry. And then, with all of this, they came up with a certain logical panel that would decide whether these institutions should get INI status. And they said they would look into strength, competence of faculty, outcomes, learning outcomes. That, at least there is a process there. Here, we don't know where this is coming from. And as I've mentioned, ma'am, we're lagging behind on research and innovation. There's a recent World Bank analysis which says that our nation has fewer research and development professionals per million people than most other countries. We just had 216 in 2015, whereas China had 1,158, the US had 4,279, and Japan had 5,173 per million people. So we have to make sure the Indian workforce is equipped to do the necessary research and development. We need to make sure that we redesign curricula for the 21st century economy. We need to create value-added jobs in the manufacturing and design areas, give advanced training in various aspects of design, graphics, animation, computer design, software, architecture design, industrial design, all of these. Film industry is also trying to catch up. I'm just saying it cuts across the board, ma'am. 2 minutes more, I'll just wrap up. The inability to provide desirable jobs to graduating students is a consequence of what I've described. Students graduating out of NID Ahmedabad, which is the first one to get the INI status, have experienced a major gap between the education they receive and the jobs offered to them. Last year, the luxury car manufacturer Rolls-Royce came to NID to recruit. This year, they haven't come back. The question everyone is asking is NID finding out what went wrong? Was the issue with student performance? Is our curriculum out of date? Are we not up to global standards? We should keep improving the quality of NID before we just blindly give a terminology, madam. And I do want to stress that making our design graduates acceptable to world-class recruiters is in the national interest. Let us promote quality as well, ma'am. And finally, let us bring design to the masses. We are still a relatively poor country. My constituency, I'm very proud to say, was where the birthplace of Raja Ravi Verma was. What did he do? His lithographs brought images of gods and goddesses to the masses, including to people who in those days were excluded from worshipping in the temples. Just design can actually transform society. What is today's lithograph by comparison? How do we ensure this is done? The national investment and manufacturing zones were created, and there were supposed to be NIDs in every one of them. That mandate has not been fulfilled either, and therefore the whole question of setting up the necessary digital labs has not been taken care of. I'm going to end, ma'am, finally with a concluding remark, which is just this. The bill is a missed opportunity. Merely conferring the status of institutional national importance without defining it is too limited an objective for this bill. The design sector needs a national policy on design, which can then be incorporated into legislation. We need to develop India's workforce, stress research and development, a digital ecosystem, and ultimately move towards the future of our modernizing economy, ma'am. In addition to Make in India, we need to encourage design in India. This is what will help build India in the 21st century. Thank you, ma'am.